Welcome, deep divers. Okay, let's talk about that feeling. You know the one, right? That familiar cringe.
Hmm.
The one that makes you wish the ground would just swallow you whole when you maybe stumble over a word in a new language.
Oh, yeah.
Or you mix up your tenses.
Yeah,
We've all been there. It's that kind of gnawing feeling whispering, you messed up.
it really is, and it's incredibly common.
It is. And it can be a real barrier,
Yeah.
stops you pushing yourself forward. But what if that very discomfort, that feeling we instinctively try to avoid, what if it's actually your most powerful ally in learning?
Mm.
What if your mistakes aren't just okay,
Yeah.
but actually essential?
That's the counterintuitive bit, isn't it?
Exactly. So today, we're diving into this fascinating concept that really challenges our whole perception of errors. We're drawing insights from a piece that argues embracing errors is, well, key to building confidence and truly mastering new skills.
Right.
Our mission in this deep dive, let's try and flip that common fear on its head. Let's discover why mistakes are truly your best teacher, helping you build genuine confidence through persistence.
What's truly fascinating here is how deeply ingrained that fear of failure is in our psyche, almost from childhood, right?
Totally.
Yet, when we actually look at the mechanisms of learning, the data often points to a completely different reality. We're kind of conditioned to avoid mistakes, always strive for perfection. But this source material presents a really compelling alternative.
A necessary one, maybe.
I think so. And thinking about the wider implications, I mean, in a world where you're constantly trying to absorb new knowledge, could be anything, new software, a complex theory, or, yeah, a new language, understanding how to leverage every experience.
Even the awkward ones.
Especially the awkward ones. It isn't just a nice to have, it's basically a superpower. It allows for a much more efficient and, frankly, effective learning path. It transforms those potential setbacks into genuine leaps forward.
That makes perfect sense. It really is about shifting that mindset, isn't it?
Exactly.
And our source material gets right to the heart of it. Mistakes aren't just acceptable, they are indispensable. They are, quite simply, your best teacher. But the big question is, why? Why are mistakes so powerful? What makes them such effective instructors?
Well, that's the core we need to unpack.
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Think about that moment your brain makes a strong, almost visceral memory from an error. Like maybe you mispronounce a word and someone gently corrects you.
That slight jolt.
Right. In that instant, something clicks. You might feel a blush creep up, a little flash of discomfort, sure, but that particular word and its correct pronunciation, it often sticks with you forever. It's almost imprinted.
It really does. It creates a stronger neural connection.
Or maybe you use the wrong tense in a conversation and the interaction feels a bit off. That awkwardness, that slight friction, it creates a powerful memory. Next time, your brain will likely retrieve that memory, and you'll be ready.
It flags it.
It's like your brain flags it with a big neon sign. Attention, important lesson learned here. So instead of shrinking away from that feeling, what if you started seeing each mistake as, like, a progress marker?
I like that framing. Progress mark.
Yeah. It's not a sign you're failing, it's proof you're pushing yourself, actively engaging, using your knowledge in a real situation, and ultimately learning faster than someone who's playing it too safe and staying silent.
And this raises that important question. Why do those awkward moments create such strong, lasting memories? From a sort of neuroscientific or psychological perspective, it's often because they engage our emotional centers.
The emotion connection.
Exactly. When there's even a mild emotional response, could be embarrassment, frustration, maybe even just surprise or amusement, the brain tends to prioritize and cement that information more effectively. The learning becomes deeply personal and, because of that, significantly more memorable. It's not just some detached fact anymore, it's an experience that you actually felt.
Right, it has context now.
Precisely. And expanding on this, think about the fundamental difference between just passively absorbing information versus active error-prone practice.
Okay.
Someone who stays silent, who only consumes information without ever testing it out, yeah, they certainly avoid making mistakes. But in doing that, they also avoid the critical feedback loop that is absolutely necessary for true mastery.
The feedback loop. Crucial.
It's everything. The real learning happens when you put yourself out there, make an attempt, see what happens, and then adjust based on the outcome. That's the dynamic process that drives deep, lasting understanding. Without that error signal, the brain literally doesn't know what to correct or improve.
Okay, but I can hear some listeners thinking, yeah, but sometimes the embarrassment from a mistake can feel truly, well, debilitating, right?
Sure, it can feel overwhelming initially.
How do we move past that first visceral reaction and actually embrace the learning instead of just shutting down? It's a valid concern. And thankfully, our source material offers 3 simple but really profound mind shifts that can help us intentionally harness this power.
Yes, these shifts are very practical.
They are. The source highlights these 3 powerful mind shifts: viewing mistakes as proof of effort, seeing them as your personal tutors, and framing them as storytellers.
This framing is a potential game changer. Let's dig into each of these a bit. When we look at mistakes as proof of effort, well, this isn't just semantics. It speaks to the core of developing a growth mindset.
Right, that idea that abilities aren't fixed.
Exactly. Viewing errors as evidence that you're trying, not failing, fundamentally alters your brain's response to challenge. It becomes an affirmation of courage and engagement, which are foundational for any kind of real growth. Basically, if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not pushing your boundaries enough to truly learn something new.
You're staying in the comfort zone.
You are. This values the process, the trying, over just the immediate, perfect outcome.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the second one, mistakes act as your personal tutor.
Precisely. Think about it. Mistakes provide immediate, undeniable feedback. Unlike, say, a general test score that might just tell you, you need to study more. A specific error tells you exactly what you need to study.
It pinpoints the issue.
It pinpoints it. This targeted feedback is far more valuable and actionable than just guessing where your weak spots might be. It directs your cognitive energy right where it's needed most for improvement, making your study time significantly more efficient. It's like a diagnostic tool, personalized just for you, generated by your own practice.
I love that. Okay, which brings us to my personal favorite, mistakes as storytellers.
Ah, yes, the narrative element. Human beings are just hardwired for narrative, aren't we? We process and retain information much more effectively when it's embedded in a story.
Absolutely.
So transforming a mistake, that moment of awkwardness, maybe even humor, into a personal anecdote, it internalizes the experience. It embeds the lesson much more profoundly than abstract rules or rote memorization ever could. It becomes part of your personal learning tapestry, a vivid memory linked directly to a correction or a new understanding. Yeah, this is fundamentally why we remember examples and anecdotes far better than just dry facts or rules.
It's so true. That funny or awkward moment when you completely misunderstood something or use the wrong word in a totally hilarious way, it makes the learning stick like glue. I remember once, early in my French studies, I very confidently told a waiter I was pregnant. All sent.
Oh.
Instead of saying I was full plane. The memory, and honestly, the look on his face, it burned the correct word into my brain for good. You laugh, but that story ensures I will never make that specific mistake again.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of the story embedding the lesson.
These mind shifts really are game changers. It's not just about what you learn, but genuinely how you learn it. And the great news is, the source doesn't just give us the theory. It offers a super practical exercise to put this into practice, like right now.
Which is key, making it actionable.
Totally. It's simple, it's actionable, and you can literally do it immediately after this deep dive.
So what's the exercise?
Okay, so how can you put this into practice? The source suggests a very straightforward exercise. First, write down the last 3 mistakes you remember making in English. Could be anything.
Acknowledge them.
Right. Next to each one, write the correct version. So for example, if you said, I go to the store yesterday, you'd write down the correct, I went to the store yesterday. Simple correction.
Okay.
Then here's the key part. Practice saying the correct sentence out loud 3 times. Just say it. I went to the store yesterday. I went to the store yesterday. I went to the store yesterday.
Got it. Active repetition.
Think about the power in that. In just a few minutes, you've taken something that might have made you cringe, something you might have instinctively tried to forget.
Push away.
Yeah, push away. And you've actively transformed it. You've turned those potential moments of embarrassment into powerful, personalized learning tools. You're not just passively correcting. You're engaging with the error. You're solidifying the correct information. And you're literally building a stronger neural pathway for next time.
And this exercise isn't just, busy work. It's a remarkably effective form of active recall and corrective practice. By writing it, speaking it, and actively comparing the incorrect with the correct, you're engaging multiple learning modalities: visual, kinesthetic, auditory.
Right, hitting it from different angles.
Exactly. This multisensory engagement reinforces the correct information really deeply within your memory. It actively corrects the neural pathways that led to the mistake in the first place, making them stronger and more accurate for the future. This kind of targeted, conscious correction is a highly efficient way to learn and, crucially, to prevent the same mistake from happening again and again.
No sense.
It moves learning from just passive reception of information to a really active, constructive process. It cements that lesson in a truly personal way.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? Well, the next time you feel that familiar cringe of embarrassment, that internal sigh when you realize you've stumbled,
That oops moment.
yeah, that oops moment, I want you to try and remember what we've unpacked today. Remember those 3 mind shifts.
Yeah.
Mistakes are proof of effort, they're invaluable feedback, and they create memorable stories. And above all, remember this really profound truth from our source. The only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who never try.
That's the bottom line.
It really is.
Yeah.
And look, if you're taking the time out of your day for a deep dive like this, if you're actively seeking to expand your knowledge and understanding, I know you're someone who's willing to try. You're someone who's pushing boundaries, challenging yourself, engaging with the world. And that's the real path to confidence, you see. It's not about achieving perfection right out of the gate. It's about persistence. It's about the willingness to try, to make those progress markers, as we call them, and to learn from every single one.
And maybe this raises an important final question for you to think about. Beyond just language learning, where else in your life are you potentially avoiding mistakes? And therefore, perhaps unknowingly, avoiding your best teacher?
Ooh, good question.
Are there new skills you're hesitant to try, maybe professional challenges you're shying away from, simply because of that fear of imperfection?
Yeah.
So what new skill or challenge might you approach differently now, knowing that every error isn't a failure, but actually a stepping stone? A piece of personalized feedback designed specifically to propel you forward. Embracing imperfection isn't just about getting better at something. It's about unlocking a more resilient, a more effective, and ultimately maybe even a more joyful way to learn and grow in any domain.
Finding freedom in the process itself.
Exactly. Freedom in the learning process.